The hyperspace tear opened like a wound in the fabric of reality, bleeding out a massive battle fleet that blotted out the stars. Admiral Krellax of the Galactic Imperium felt the familiar surge of conquering anticipation coursing through his exoskeletal neural pathways. Humanity was just another civilization to be cataloged, subjugated, and integrated into the Imperial domain, a process his species had perfected across thousands of star systems. Earth looked deceptively fragile from his command deck, a blue-green marble suspended in the vast darkness of space, its planetary defenses seemingly laughable compared to the technological might of the Imperial Armada. Krellax ran a set of complex calculations through his bio-integrated computer systems, confirming what generations of Imperial intelligence had reported. Humans were a young species, barely a century into meaningful space exploration. With primitive technology, it would crumble beneath the first wave of Imperial assault. The fleet surrounding him represented the pinnacle of Imperial military engineering. Each warship was a technological marvel, kilometers long, bristling with weapon systems that could reduce entire planetary surfaces to molten slag, quantum phase cannons capable of dissolving matter at the atomic level, gravimetric compression weapons that could crush entire continents into geological dust, electromagnetic pulse generators that could fry every electronic system across a planet's entire hemisphere. Krellax's secondary visual receptors scanned the tactical displays, each screen showing multiple dimensions of potential invasion scenarios. Intelligence reports suggested minimal resistance. Preliminary scans indicated a fractured human civilization, still struggling with internal political conflicts, environmental challenges, and technological limitations. The Imperium had conquered far more advanced civilizations with less effort. His communication officer, a cybernetically enhanced subordinate named Vexnera, transmitted the standard Imperial invasion protocol, a multi-frequency message that would be received across every possible communication band. Inhabitants of designation, Earth. Your civilization has been identified for mandatory integration into the Galactic Imperial Collective. Resistance is statistically improbable. Surrender your planetary resources, technological infrastructure, and population for systematic processing. Non-compliance will result in immediate and total planetary destruction. The message was a formality, a centuries-old tradition that gave conquered civilizations a moment to comprehend their inevitable fate. What Krellax didn't know was that this message was already being analyzed, not just by human computers, but by something far more complex. Deep within a nondescript mountain facility in the Colorado Rocky Mountains, a team of scientists, military strategists, and computational experts had been preparing for this moment for decades. They weren't just waiting, they were hunting. Dr. Emily Rodriguez adjusted her neural interface, her fingers moving with surgical precision across holographic displays that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. Around her, a team of researchers monitored systems that defied conventional understanding of technology, computation, and warfare. Incoming Imperial transmission, reported Marcus Chen, a computational linguist specializing in scenographic communication. Standard invasion protocol, Vector 7 Gamma 9. Typical Imperial communication matrix. Emily's eyes never left the complex web of data streams dancing across her displays. Each stream represented a different layer of defense, a different potential response to the incoming threat. What the Imperial fleet saw as a vulnerable target was actually an intricate, living system of technological defense that had been years in the making. The facility itself was more than a research center. It was the central nervous system of a planetary defense network that had been constructed in absolute secrecy. Underground complexes spread across multiple continents, orbital platforms that looked like simple communication satellites, deep-sea research stations that were actually advanced weapon platforms. Humanity had been watching, waiting, preparing. Krellax's fleet continued its approach, confidence radiating from every weapon system, every crew member. They saw a planet, an easy conquest, a routine expansion of Imperial territory. They did not see the trap that was about to close around them. As the massive Imperial ships continued their methodical approach, something began to stir. Not just in the mountain facility, but across the entire planet. A network of defense systems, computational matrices, and strategic algorithms started to synchronize. First contact was moments away. And nothing, absolutely nothing, would prepare the Imperium for what was coming. The Mountain Research Facility was a masterpiece of hidden complexity. From the outside, it appeared to be nothing more than a standard geological research station, nestled deep within the Colorado Rockies. But beneath the unassuming exterior lay a labyrinth of technological marvels that represented humanity's most closely guarded secret. Dr. Emily Rodriguez moved through the facility with the controlled precision of a surgeon. Her team represented the pinnacle of human intellectual achievement, a carefully selected group of experts who had been working in absolute secrecy for over 2 decades. Quantum physicists worked alongside AI specialists, military strategists collaborated with materials engineers, and computational linguists shared spaces with xenobiological experts. Marcus Chen, standing at a holographic display that seemed to breathe with living data, turned to Emily. "The neural network is showing unprecedented synchronization," he reported, his voice a mix of scientific excitement and professional calm. "Our predictive models are generating response scenarios faster than we anticipated." The facility was more than a research center. It was the brain of a global defense system that had been meticulously constructed in absolute secrecy. Every major world power had contributed, not through traditional military cooperation, but through a unified understanding of the potential extraterrestrial threat. Dr. Rodriguez recalled the moment everything changed. It wasn't a single event, but a gradual realization that humanity needed to prepare for something beyond conventional understanding. The first hints had come from anomalous deep space signals, subtle gravitational irregularities, and unexplained technological breakthroughs that seemed to come from nowhere. "Communication protocol is locked," announced Sarah Williams, the team's lead communication specialist. Her fingers danced across a quantum-encrypted interface that would make any existing encryption system look like child's play. "We're ready to receive and process the Imperial transmission." The room hummed with potential energy. Hundreds of computational nodes worked in perfect harmony, each one a microscopic marvel of engineering that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. These weren't just computers. They were living networks of computational intelligence that could adapt, learn, and respond faster than any biological intelligence could comprehend. Emily remembered the early days of the project. The skepticism, the funding challenges, the political hurdles. Convincing world leaders to invest in a defense system against a threat that seemed purely theoretical had been her greatest challenge. But she had persevered, building a coalition of the world's brightest minds who understood that preparation was survival. "Global defense platforms are at full synchronization," reported Dr. Robert Martinez, a former naval strategic analyst who now managed the Planetary Defense Coordination. "We've got coverage from orbital platforms, underwater complexes, and ground-based systems that can activate within milliseconds." The facility was just one node in a global network. Similar research centers existed around the world, in remote locations in the Andes, hidden beneath the Siberian tundra, concealed in underground complexes in the Australian outback. Each was a piece of a larger puzzle, a distributed intelligence that could respond to threats with unprecedented speed and precision. Marcus pulled up a holographic representation of the incoming Imperial fleet. "Their communication protocol is remarkably consistent," he noted. "They've used the same basic transmission matrix for what our linguistic analysis suggests is hundreds of years. It's almost predictable." Emily allowed herself a slight smile. Predictability was vulnerability. The team had developed something beyond traditional artificial intelligence. It was a living, adaptive network that could process scenarios millions of times faster than any biological intelligence. Each potential Imperial attack vector had been analyzed, simulated, and countered before the fleet had even entered the solar system. "Preliminary analysis complete," Sarah announced. The Imperial transmission is exactly what our models predicted. Standard invasion protocol, minimal variation from historical communication patterns. Dr. Rodriguez walked to the central holographic display. The entire planetary defense network was represented as a complex, pulsing web of interconnected systems. It looked alive, because in many ways it was. A global immune system, ready to respond to the slightest threat. "Prepare full system integration," she commanded. "We're going to show them that humanity is not their prey." The facility fell into a state of controlled anticipation. Decades of preparation had come down to this moment. The Imperial fleet approached, confident in their superiority, unaware that they were sailing into a trap that had been carefully constructed with mathematical precision and human ingenuity. Humanity was ready, and the universe was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The first moment of the attack was silent. Utterly, completely silent. Invisible defense satellites flickered to life across Earth's orbital perimeter, their existence unknown to the approaching Imperial fleet. Each satellite was a marvel of engineering that defied conventional understanding of technology, weapon systems that were as much living intelligence as they were mechanical construct. Dr. Emily Rodriguez watched the tactical displays with a surgeon's precision. Her neural interface pulsed with data streams that moved faster than human perception could typically process. Around her, the research facility hummed with controlled anticipation. "Quantum entanglement systems are online," Marcus Chin reported, his voice calm despite the magnitude of what was about to unfold. "Targeting matrices are locked and synchronizing." The Imperial ships continued their approach, massive hulks of metal and energy that represented centuries of galactic conquest. Admiral Krelax remained supremely confident, his multiple sensory organs scanning for any potential resistance. What he saw was a seemingly defenseless planet, ripe for subjugation. What he didn't see were the weapon systems already targeting every millimeter of his fleet. The first wave of defense was computational. Before a single physical weapon fired, the planetary network had already analyzed every potential Imperial attack vector. Quantum-based predictive algorithms mapped out potential threat scenarios with such precision that the Imperial fleet's movements became almost laughably predictable. "Gravitational disruptors charging," Sarah Williams announced, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. Molecular coherence weapons primed. The satellites were more than simple defensive platforms. They were adaptive systems that could reconfigure themselves instantaneously, weapons that could change their fundamental structure faster than an enemy could comprehend a threat. Each was a node in a global defense network that functioned like a single planet-wide neural system. The first Imperial ships began to die before their crews could even register a threat. Quantum-phased energy weapons sliced through battleship hulls with surgical precision. These weren't traditional weapons, but something entirely new, adaptive systems that could target specific molecular structures, dissolving Imperial ships from the inside out. Where traditional weapons would cause explosions, these simply caused targeted molecular disintegration. "Primary wave neutralized," Marcus reported, a hint of clinical satisfaction in his voice. 73% of first contact fleet eliminated in 2.3 seconds. Admiral Krelax's communication systems erupted with panic. Massive warships simply vanished from tactical displays, their complex technological systems rendered instantly inert. The Imperial fleet's supposedly impenetrable shields might as well have been tissue paper against the adaptive weapon systems that humanity had developed. Dr. Rodriguez understood the psychological warfare aspect of their defense. It wasn't just about destroying the fleet. It was about sending a message. Humanity would not be conquered. Humanity would not be threatened. Secondary defensive wave preparing. Robert Martinez called out. Electromagnetic pulse generators spinning up. The planetary defense network was a living, breathing system. Underground complexes activated weapon platforms that rose from seemingly innocuous landscapes. Ocean-based defense systems emerged from the depths, their existence unknown to the Imperial fleet until the moment of attack. What the Imperials saw was not a defense. It was an immune response. Each weapon system was more than a machine. It was an adaptive intelligence that could predict, target, and neutralize threats faster than biological consciousness could comprehend. The satellites weren't just firing. They were thinking, analyzing, adapting with each millisecond of the encounter. Quantum communication network maintaining full synchronization, Sarah reported. No system degradation detected. The Imperial fleet watched in mounting terror as their supposedly superior technology was systematically dismantled. Ships that represented centuries of technological developments simply ceased to exist, reduced to atomic dust by weapons that seemed to understand their fundamental vulnerabilities. Marcus pulled up a real-time visualization of the attack. It looked less like a battle and more like a surgical procedure, precise, calculated, almost clinical in its execution. 92% of initial invasion force neutralized, he announced. Remaining ships showing signs of significant system failure. Dr. Rodriguez allowed herself the smallest of smiles. This was more than a defense. This was a statement. A declaration to the universe that humanity was not a species to be trifled with. The technological ambush continued, a symphony of destruction composed with mathematical precision and executed with ruthless efficiency. Humanity had been waiting, and the universe was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The true weapon of humanity was something far more complex than any single technological system. It was a distributed intelligence network that defied every conventional understanding of computation, strategy, and consciousness. Dr. Emily Rodriguez stood at the epicenter of this living network, her neural interface pulsing with data streams that moved faster than thought itself. Around her, the research facility hummed with an energy that was almost organic, a global defense system that thought, adapted, and responded with terrifying precision. Computational nodes are achieving quantum synchronization, Marcus Chen reported, his voice a mixture of scientific wonder and professional calm. We're seeing response scenarios being generated faster than our previous models could even conceptualize. Each computational node was a marvel of engineering. They weren't just computers in the traditional sense, but adaptive systems that could reconfigure themselves instantaneously. Where traditional artificial intelligence followed programmed parameters, this network seemed to breathe with a kind of collective intelligence that blurred the lines between machine and living system. Sarah Williams pulled up a holographic display that looked more like a living organism than a technical readout. Streams of data flowed like neural pathways, each intersection representing a decision point, a potential response to the Imperial invasion. Predictive modeling is showing exponential complexity, she announced. The system is learning and adapting with each millisecond of the encounter. The network extended far beyond the mountain research facility. Underground complexes in the Andes, hidden research stations in the Siberian tundra, offshore platforms in the Pacific. Each was a node in a global intelligence that functioned with a unity previously thought impossible. Quantum entangled communication systems allowed instantaneous information sharing that made the Imperial fleet's communication look like primitive smoke signals. Dr. Robert Martinez walked between holographic displays, each showing a different aspect of the planetary defense network. It's not just about defense, he explained to a junior researcher. We've created a living system that can predict, analyze, and neutralize threats before they even fully manifest. The Imperial fleet continued to disintegrate, each ship falling victim to weapon systems that seemed to understand their fundamental vulnerabilities at a molecular level. Gravitational disruptors tore spacecraft apart with surgical precision. Laser systems sliced through battleship hulls as if they were made of paper. Electromagnetic pulses rendered entire fleet sections instantly inert. But it was more than just technological superiority. It was a fundamental reimagining of what intelligence could be. Adaptive response matrix is showing unprecedented complexity, Marcus called out. Each computational node was not just processing information, it was learning. The entire planetary defense network was evolving in real time, analyzing the Imperial fleet's tactics, predicting potential counter strategies, and neutralizing threats before they could even be conceived. Emily watched the displays, understanding the profound nature of what they had created. This wasn't just a defense system. It was a new form of collective intelligence that merged human creativity with computational precision. The Imperial ships watched in mounting terror as their supposedly superior technology was systematically dismantled. What they faced was not a traditional military defense, but a living, thinking system that could process combat scenarios in nanoseconds. Quantum communication networks maintaining full synchronization, Sarah reported. No system degradation detected. Each weapon platform was more than a machine. It was an adaptive intelligence that could predict, target, and neutralize threats faster than biological consciousness could comprehend. The satellites weren't just firing. They were thinking, analyzing, adapting with each millisecond of the encounter. Dr. Rodriguez understood the psychological warfare aspect of their defense. It wasn't just about destroying the fleet. It was about sending a message. Humanity would not be conquered. Humanity would not be threatened. Marcus pulled up a real-time visualization of the attack. It looked less like a battle and more like a complex biological response, a planetary immune system identifying and neutralizing a threat with ruthless efficiency. 98% of invasion force neutralized, he announced. Remaining ships showing complete systemic failure. The distributed intelligence continued its work, a symphony of destruction composed with mathematical precision and executed with a kind of cold, calculating creativity that was uniquely human. Each computational node, each weapon system, each defensive platform was a testament to human ingenuity, a collective intelligence that represented the true potential of the species. Humanity had been waiting, and the universe was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The remaining Imperial ships hung in space like wounded animals, their once proud technological superiority reduced to scattered wreckage and silent hulls. Admiral Krelak stared at the tactical displays with a mixture of disbelief and mounting terror that his species had never experienced in thousands of years of galactic conquest. Communication channels erupted with panic. Crew members from different ships broadcast in increasingly desperate tones, their universal translation systems struggling to convey the magnitude of their defeat. What had begun as a routine planetary subjugation had transformed into an unprecedented nightmare. Tactical analysis is impossible, reported Vexnera, Krelax's primary communication officer, her multiple appendages trembling with an emotion dangerously close to fear. Our computational systems cannot even process the method of our destruction. Back in the Mountain Research Facility, Dr. Emily Rodriguez understood the psychological warfare aspect of their defense was just as critical as the technological response. This wasn't just about destroying an invasion fleet. It was about sending a message that would echo through galactic civilizations for generations. Intercepting and analyzing Imperial communication channels, Marcus Chen reported, his fingers moving across holographic displays that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. Their communication protocols are breaking down. We're seeing complete systemic collapse. The planetary defense network did more than just destroy ships. It systematically dismantled the Imperial fleet's ability to communicate, to strategize, to even comprehend what was happening. Each computational node was analyzing not just physical vulnerabilities, but psychological ones, understanding and exploiting the fundamental weaknesses of the Imperial military structure. Sarah Williams pulled up a complex linguistic analysis of the intercepted communications. Their communication hierarchy is collapsing, she observed. We're witnessing a complete breakdown of their military chain of command. Admiral Krelax attempted to reassert control, but found his own communication systems compromised. Signals became garbled. Strategic networks collapsed. What had been a perfectly synchronized invasion force was now nothing more than a collection of isolated, terrified ships. Dr. Robert Martinez understood the deeper strategy. It's not just about physical destruction, he explained to a junior researcher. We're demonstrating a level of technological and strategic superiority that challenges their entire understanding of cosmic hierarchy. The psychological impact was intentional. Humanity wasn't just defending itself, It was sending a clear message to any civilization that might consider Earth a potential target. Each destroyed ship was a warning. Each intercepted communication, a demonstration of capabilities far beyond what any known species could comprehend. 99.7% of invasion force neutralized, Marcus announced, a hint of clinical satisfaction in his voice. Remaining ships showing complete cognitive and technological disintegration. Aboard the Imperial flagship, Admiral Krelax experienced something his species had never known. Total, complete helplessness. The weapon systems that had conquered thousands of civilizations were useless. The computational networks that had guided Imperial conquest for millennia were being systematically dismantled by a species they had considered primitive. The planetary defense network continued its work with ruthless efficiency. It wasn't just destroying ships, it was analyzing them, learning from them. Each destroyed vessel provided more data, more understanding of potential future threats. Psychological response patterns are fascinating, Sarah noted, studying the intercepted communications. We're seeing a complete breakdown of Imperial military doctrine. Their entire strategic framework is collapsing. Dr. Rodriguez watched the displays, understanding the profound nature of what they had achieved. This was more than a defense. It was a fundamental challenge to the galactic status quo. Humanity was announcing its arrival on the cosmic stage, with a demonstration of capabilities that defied conventional understanding. The few remaining Imperial ships began to scatter, their once proud invasion force reduced to a panicked retreat. But even their escape was carefully managed by Earth's defensive network, each ship's trajectory subtly manipulated, herded, controlled. We're guiding their retreat, Marcus explained, ensuring they carry back a very specific message about humanity's capabilities. As the last Imperial vessels limped away, the planetary defense network continued its analysis. Every moment, every interaction was being studied, processed, understood. The invasion had become more than a battle. It was a scientific expedition, a moment of first contact that would redefine humanity's place in the universe. Humanity had been waiting, and the universe would never be the same. As the remnants of the Imperial fleet attempted to regroup, something extraordinary happened. The planet itself seemed to come alive. A living, breathing defensive organism that defied every conventional understanding of planetary warfare. Dr. Emily Rodriguez watched the tactical displays with a surgeon's precision, her neural interface pulsing with data streams that revealed the true complexity of Earth's defense network. What appeared to be ordinary landscapes began to transform, revealing weapon platforms that had been hidden in plain sight for years. Global defense platforms activating, Marcus Chen reported, his voice steady despite the magnitude of what was unfolding. Subsurface and maritime systems coming online. In the Australian outback, what had appeared to be a series of geological research stations suddenly reconfigured. Massive weapon systems emerged from underground complexes, their designs so advanced they seemed to defy the laws of physics. Camouflage technologies that had been developed over decades allowed these platforms to remain completely undetected until the moment of activation. Dr. Robert Martinez pulled up a holographic display showing the global distribution of defensive systems. It's not just about individual weapon platforms, he explained to a junior researcher. We've created a planetary immune system that can respond to threats with unprecedented speed and precision. Underwater defense complexes rose from the depths of the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. What looked like ordinary ocean floor suddenly transformed into a network of advanced weapon platforms. Gravitational disruptors capable of targeting ships both in space and beneath the waves came online, their targeting systems so precise they could neutralize a threat down to the molecular level. Oceanic defense grid at full synchronization, Sarah Williams announced. Her fingers danced across interfaces that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. Submarine and deep-sea platforms fully operational. The remaining Imperial ships found themselves caught in a three-dimensional trap. Weapon systems emerged from underground, from the oceans, from what appeared to be ordinary landscapes. Each platform was more than just a weapon. It was an adaptive intelligence that could predict and neutralize threats faster than biological consciousness could comprehend. In the Siberian tundra, massive defense complexes rose from seemingly barren landscapes. Weapon systems that had been developed in absolute secrecy now revealed themselves. Technologies that combined quantum computing, advanced material science, and computational strategies that redefined the very concept of planetary defense. Thermal camouflage systems are maintaining complete concealment, Marcus reported. Imperial sensors continue to show nothing but standard planetary terrain. The Andes mountain range became a fortress of technological marvel. Research stations that had appeared to be simple geological outposts transformed into advanced defensive platforms. Energy systems that could generate and manipulate gravitational fields came online, creating defensive barriers that could neutralize entire fleet sections. Dr. Rodriguez understood the psychological warfare aspect of their defense. It wasn't just about destroying the invasion force. It was about sending a message. Humanity would not be conquered. Humanity would not be threatened. Adaptive response matrices are showing unprecedented complexity, Sarah called out. Each defensive platform was not just a weapon system, but a node in a global intelligence network that could think, adapt, and respond with terrifying precision. The few remaining Imperial ships watched in mounting terror as the planet itself seemed to become a living weapon. Defensive systems emerged from locations that defied their understanding of planetary infrastructure. A mountain became a weapon platform. An ocean trench transformed into a defensive complex. A seemingly barren desert revealed intricate technological marvels. Planetary Defense Network at 100% synchronization, Marcus announced. No system degradation detected. It was more than a defense system. It was a demonstration of humanity's true potential. A collective intelligence that merged human creativity with computational precision. Each weapon platform, each defensive complex was a testament to years of secret preparation, of a species that had been quietly, methodically preparing for this moment. The global defense continued its work, a symphony of technological marvel composed with mathematical precision and executed with a kind of cold, calculating creativity that was uniquely human. Humanity had been waiting, and the universe was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. Precisely 17 minutes and 43 seconds after first contact, the Imperial invasion fleet ceased to exist. Dr. Emily Rodriguez watched the final tactical displays with a mixture of clinical precision and profound satisfaction. Not a single human life had been lost. The most significant invasion attempt in human history had been neutralized with almost casual efficiency. Final sweep of orbital space complete, Marcus Chen reported, his voice calm despite the magnitude of what had just occurred. 100% confirmed neutralization of Imperial assets. The communication systems of the research facility hummed with activity. Around the world, similar research centers and military coordination points verified the total elimination of the threat. What had begun as a potential extinction-level event had been transformed into a definitive statement about humanity's capabilities. Sarah Williams pulled up a comprehensive analysis of the encounter. Computational models are showing complete systemic collapse of the Imperial fleet, she announced. We've not just destroyed their ships, we've fundamentally dismantled their entire invasion infrastructure. A simple message was prepared. Broadcast across all known Imperial communication frequencies, it was a declaration more powerful than any weapon. Inhabitants of the Galactic Imperium, you have attempted to subjugate a species you did not understand. This will not happen again. Do not return. Dr. Robert Martinez understood the profound psychological impact of their response. This was more than a defensive action. It was a clear, unequivocal message to any civilization that might consider Earth a potential target. Admiral Krelax, the sole survivor of the invasion force, found himself trapped in a small escape pod. His communication systems were completely compromised, his ship reduced to microscopic debris. Everything he had known, centuries of Imperial military doctrine, the supposed superiority of his species, had been dismantled in less than 20 minutes. Psychological analysis of Imperial communication channels is complete, Marcus reported. We're seeing a total breakdown of their military and governmental communication structures. The Planetary Defense Network continued its meticulous work. Each piece of Imperial technology was being analyzed, studied, broken down to its fundamental components. What appeared to be simple destruction was, in fact, the most comprehensive intelligence-gathering operation in human history. We're extracting every possible piece of technological and strategic information, Sarah explained to a junior researcher. This isn't just a defense. It's an opportunity to understand potential future threats. Around the world, the teams responsible for Earth's defense began the careful process of documenting the encounter. Every moment, every tactical decision would be studied, analyzed, and integrated into future defensive strategies. Dr. Rodriguez understood the larger implications. This was humanity's first true test on the galactic stage. They had not just survived. They had demonstrated a level of technological and strategic capability that would redefine interstellar politics. Comprehensive data collection is at 99.9%, Marcus announced. We've captured virtually every aspect of the Imperial invasion attempt. The few remaining fragments of Imperial technology were carefully collected by specialized retrieval teams. Underwater complexes and orbital platforms worked in perfect synchronization to gather every possible piece of evidence. Nothing would be left to chance. No human casualties confirmed, Sarah repeated, a note of pride in her voice. Complete neutralization of the invasion force. The global defense network began to power down, each system returning to its hidden state. Weapon platforms disappeared beneath landscapes. Underwater complexes returned to their dormant configurations. To any external observer, it would appear as if nothing had happened. But the message had been sent. Humanity was not a species to be trifled with. Dr. Rodriguez looked at the final tactical display. 17 minutes and 43 seconds. An entire invasion fleet, reduced to cosmic dust. A civilization's military might, completely dismantled. Prepare the full report, she instructed her team. We need to ensure we're ready for whatever might come next. The universe had just learned a lesson it would not soon forget. Humanity had arrived, and they were ready. The galactic community reeled in the aftermath of humanity's unprecedented defense. Dr. Emily Rodriguez stood before an international committee, presenting a comprehensive analysis of the encounter. The room was filled with representatives from every major world government, military leaders, and top scientific minds. Her presentation was clinical, precise, and utterly devastating. 17 minutes and 43 seconds, she began, her voice steady. That's all it took to dismantle the most significant invasion force in recorded galactic history. Marcus Chen prepared the visual presentations, detailed breakdowns of the technological systems that had neutralized the Imperial fleet. Each slide was a testament to human ingenuity, showing weapon platforms that defied conventional understanding of physics, computational networks that thought faster than biological intelligence could comprehend. The global research teams had spent weeks analyzing every fragment of Imperial technology. What they discovered was both terrifying and fascinating. The Imperial fleet represented technological systems that had conquered thousands of civilizations, and humanity had dismantled them with almost casual efficiency. We're not just talking about defensive capabilities, Dr. Robert Martinez explained to the assembled committee. We've developed a planetary intelligence network that can adapt, learn, and respond to threats faster than any known biological or technological system in the galaxy. Diplomatic channels began to light up. Other spacefaring civilizations, those who had long feared or looked down on humanity, suddenly viewed Earth with a mixture of terror and profound respect. The message was clear. Humanity was not a species to be underestimated. Sarah Williams coordinated the global communication strategy. Intercepted communications from various alien civilizations painted a clear picture of the psychological impact. The Imperium was in complete disarray. Their entire military doctrine had been fundamentally challenged by a species they had considered primitive. "We've essentially rewritten the rules of galactic engagement," she reported. "No civilization will look at humanity the same way again." Intelligence agencies around the world began preparing for potential fallout. The research teams knew this was more than just a defensive victory. It was a fundamental shift in humanity's position in the cosmic hierarchy. Dr. Rodriguez understood the deeper implications. This wasn't just about defending against a single invasion. It was about establishing humanity's place in a much larger, more complex galactic ecosystem. Fragments of Imperial technology were carefully studied. Each piece revealed layers of technological sophistication that humanity could now begin to understand and potentially surpass. The planetary defense network had not just destroyed an invasion force, it had collected the most comprehensive intelligence gathered in human history. "We've gained technological insights that will advance our understanding by decades, if not centuries," Marcus explained during a closed-door briefing. "Every system, every weapon, every communication protocol of the Imperial fleet has been analyzed and cataloged." The global research facilities that had been hidden for years now began to receive unprecedented funding and support. Governments around the world recognized that the secret defense networks were humanity's greatest asset. Dr. Martinez pulled up a holographic display showing the global distribution of research centers. "What most of the world doesn't understand," he told a group of senior advisors, "is that this isn't just a defensive system. It's a living, thinking network that represents the collective potential of our entire species." Diplomatic channels with other spacefaring civilizations became increasingly complex. Some sought to understand humanity's capabilities. Others watched with a mixture of fear and fascination. The galactic balance of power had fundamentally shifted in less than 20 minutes. "We're no longer an emerging species," Dr. Rodriguez told her team. "We're a force to be reckoned with." The planetary defense network remained vigilant. Each system continued to learn, to adapt, to prepare for potential future threats. What had been developed was more than a weapon system. It was a planetary immune response, a collective intelligence that represented humanity's true potential. Sarah Williams managed the global communication strategies. Carefully crafted messages were sent through diplomatic channels, making it clear that humanity was open to communication, but would not tolerate any threats. "The message is simple," she explained. "We are here, we are prepared, and we will defend ourselves." As weeks passed, the implications became clear. The Imperial invasion had been more than a military encounter. It was a fundamental redefinition of humanity's place in the universe. The planetary defense network continued its work. Learning, preparing, waiting. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same.